Hello out there in cryptocurrency land. How's everyone doing today? Welcome to Market Update for Tuesday, October 3rd with Real Crypto. So, not a lot happening today in terms of pops, at least. There have been quite a few drops, but not a lot of upward movement. Bitcoin here, as you can see, since we talked yesterday, Bitcoin decided to break its declining trend, or its inclining trend line here, leading us a little bit lower. Nothing too crazy at this moment in time, but volume did accelerate at a pretty good clip. So let's just kind of wait to see what it does here. We have a nice little double bottom here, so we could go up, or we could form a little mini head and shoulders, meaning we come back and maybe test this 4,000 level, something like that. So we'll just kind of have to wait and see what's in the cards for Bitcoin. Ethereum, actually a little more bullish than Bitcoin, kind of showing more of that divergence we've been discussing. Down a little bit, but not too much. Volume has still been very benign. Volume has been very quiet as of late, really the past like 4 or 5 days. Not a lot of volume to speak of. People are not really interested in Ethereum. I know that Bitcoin's getting ready to hard fork, I think towards the end of this month, but that's still a month away, so I can't really account for the lack of interest in Ethereum. All I can say is that it's looking overall a little bit weak. We have a bit of a rounded top here. It's not quite a rounded top, but a little bit of a rounded top scenario. People are asking about Litecoin today in the live stream. Litecoin's still low out of this symmetrical triangle we talked about yesterday. Yesterday this had not broken down or out, and as of then it had broken down. So not much to do in Litecoin until it proves it can get above this declining trend line. On some pretty good volume. Overall, we're still in a choppy market, everyone. Still need to keep stops tight. Just choppy market rules are winning right now. So on to a couple guys that have some news happening and also some leaders. Let's look at NEO, which is kind of our market leader at this moment in time. So NEO has an inclining trend line, kind of like Bitcoin did, and it's been chopping up and down off of that. We're testing that right now. We're still bullish in NEO overall, seeing as how we're above this trend line. But if we get a clean break of this trend line, that could change at any time. And NEO is looking a little defensive here, but I wouldn't count them out at all. Again, let the charts tell you what to do. Don't try to forecast. Wait for that line to break and wait for some volume. QTUM has tomorrow has a credit, or not a credit swap, but kind of a swap. If you own QTUM here, you actually don't own QTUM. You kind of own an IOU, and tomorrow you're apparently going to get the real deal QTUM. So looks like we're getting a little bit of buying into that action. Someone already took some big positions over here, so we'll see what happens in QTUM. As you can see here, there's a kind of a trend line here on QTUM, which never was broken really, and now we're rallying off of that. Volume is increasing, which is good. Hopefully this move continues higher. I know some people have positions in QTUM. There was an inverted head and shoulders here. I don't have it drawn out for you at this moment in time, but there's the inverted head and shoulders. There is the neckline. So we broke the neckline. We came back and tested the neckline. Now we're continuing higher. That is a good sign for QTUM. So hopefully in the future that will produce some good results for us. Not too much more to talk about in the markets really right now. Today's going to be a pretty short video, but I do want to cover Internet of People, which I sent a tweet out on earlier. If you're not hooked up with my Twitter, it's @RealCryptoTrade, @RealCryptoTrade. I'm not super active, but when I see a pretty interesting chart, I do tell you guys about it. And IOP is one of those charts if I can find it. Apparently I can't, so I'm just going to search it. So IOP is kind of resting towards its all-time highs in this larger move that it had. If you've been following us, we noticed IOP first in this little consolidation pattern all the way down here, all the way down there, and since then, I think even before then, it had a 500% run up to this level, a 500% run. And if you notice, the volume in IOP has been very bullish, really no selling to speak of, just kind of a stair-step upward type of a motion. And right now we're getting pretty close to the breakout point, and if Internet of People does decide to break out and on some pretty good volume, look for action like this, any kind of nice big volume pop, you could see a pretty nice price appreciation in Internet of People. So let's go out to the daily. Just want to show the overall picture and what we may be in store for. So right now we're sitting about $5.33. Yes, I'm looking at the dollar chart here. And there's nothing saying we can't get to 10, even maybe $15 out of this. So there's definitely some room for this thing to run. You could get 100 to 150 to 200% out of this if this thing decides to go. And volume is going to be your key there. Also notice that pretty much throughout the entire history of IOP, there's been no volume until very recently. So yet another good sign for a bullish case in this coin. It still could flag out for a couple more days. Maybe we break out over here in about what does that give us, about a week or so? So maybe it takes a week, maybe it goes sooner. It's a little hard to tell. There's a few other interesting charts. Really nothing really worth reviewing too much. BAT, on the other hand, BAT has a bit of an interesting pattern. Nothing too crazy, but let's take a peek at it. So BAT has kind of a higher cup scenario. We talked about this earlier in the live stream, but BAT has a history of kind of peaking and then failing, peaking and then failing. It does it time and time again. So if you're going to get into a coin that acts this way, you need to understand its behavior and trade it appropriately. Don't try to forecast what you want onto the coin. Let the coin tell you kind of how it likes to trade. This one likes to jump up and fade the move downward. Now that being said, we do have a series of higher lows and this supporting trend line here. So this could break out in pretty good fashion at some point here. If it gets above all this chop, I say all bets are off, and BAT could be something that is a little bit more bullish, a little bit of maybe it'll double, maybe it'll triple, who knows. These coins like to do that. But anyway, this is one to keep an eye on. You want to look for the behavior as it get towards these highs. Make sure it doesn't sell down in pretty deep. I would like this to explode higher, and if you don't see those explosive moves, I'd be ready to sell. I'd be ready to sell. But that is a trade you could possibly take. I know a lot of you are out there looking to trade. So anyway, there you go. There's kind of the market update. We have still the divergence in the market between Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin broke its inclining trend line, and now we're just kind of waiting to see what's next. Ethereum, very benign volume, not a lot of action happening on Ethereum. And look at that volume. Even throughout history, there's just usually lots of volume, but right now it's just very, very quiet. So all right, guys, there you go. Subscribe if you like the video. Like the video if you like the video. And if you don't know, we do live stream every day between noon and 1 Mountain Standard Time. Those aren't set times. We start sometime between noon and 1. So just want to put that out there for you guys. Check us out on Twitter. Check out the website, real-crypto.com. And we will see you in the live stream tomorrow. Have a good day.